Good morning, Facebook friends. This is voting day. Yes, I went to vote this morning. I have been voting by mail, but I decided that I would go to the polls today, considering all this talk about mail fraud and everything. I thought that it would be best for me to go to the polls. And I wanted to experience it because this is a very important election. But if something is going to happen, I'm one of those people, it's usually going to happen to me. So my experience was not so pleasant, and that's why I am going online today to tell you about it. As you can see that I am in a walker. I have a slip disc in my back and some degeneration of the bones, so I'm using this until I can get further work done. However, being disabled, I walked to the polls and waited in line before 7 a.m., eager to vote. However, when it came time for me to go in, I was told to stand aside. There was a gentleman in front of me, and he was waiting for someone. Then the poll worker told me that his wife wanted to come in and vote with him. She had been sitting out in the warm car with her baby, which is understandable. I know I'm a reasonable person. I understand the situation with the couple, and they've got a baby. They had to bring the baby along. However, you must also take in the rights of other people. And I have been a parent in the same situation. And I've had usually someone along with me, and you take turns so that you don't infringe upon the rights of other people. Now, I would have been okay with this had I been asked. So this is a thing where it's the principle. And when it comes down to insensitivity of workers, and this is what I want to bring out. The worker had no respect for my presence. She saw that I was disabled, and me being an African American too, and evidently she didn't think too much of either one. She didn't think she needed to ask me, that she had the authority to just cast me aside and treat me as she felt like she wanted to, okay? So, automatically I am offended by that, and anyone should be, whether you're a black, white, whatever, and if you are disabled, because we don't get the same rights as other people always. We have to make our own way in this world, despite our disabilities. So, I told the poll worker that that should not have happened, where she looked at me, like, who are you to say something like that to me? And asked me to repeat myself. I said, that should not have happened. And she said, well, she had a baby. And I told her again, that should not have happened. I was not asked. And the people around me, acting astounded, like, this is a monster of a woman. And I should have made, some type of consideration for them having a child. Well, I feel that they should have made some type of consideration for me also as a senior citizen, as a disabled person. But they completely overlooked that, said nothing about it. In fact, when I said that to the husband, he said, it's called consideration, he said to me in a very smart way. And I said, well, I'm disabled. They didn't take that into consideration. And because I said, you're exercising privilege. And everyone around me laughed, that's one of those Black Lives Matter things, Yes, I wore all black today in respect for Black Lives Matter. And I imagine they thought, well, I am Antifa. Yes, I am anti-fascist and anti-dictator and everything else that Trump is. But besides that, courtesy is one thing when it's exercised by both sides. and they showed me no common courtesy or respect. They thought it was a big joke and that I was this whole person, this whole terrible person. They said, wow, wow. And after so many comments by the people around me, which incidentally were all white, because they were laughing at me and everything else, being very disrespectful. And the husband goes, well, do you want to get in front of me? And I said, yes, I do. And they said, wow, wow, wow. Well, you know, I deserved to get in front of them after what they did to me. So it was something that blew completely out of proportion. I felt that I should mention the incident because the poll workers seemed not to care or think that she owed me any type of apology, that I am expected to give up my rights and privileges. So I spoke to the supervisor, and the supervisor sort of treated me nonchalant, and she said, well, I'm not the one who did that to you. When I proceeded to tell her about the incident, you know, that guilt white thing, you know, that those are my ancestors who did that, or that was that other person, I shouldn't have to take responsibility for it. Well, you are the supervisor. I expect you to do something about it. You heard what she did. You told me that that should have never have happened to me. Well, then you proceeded to ignore me and try to get rid of me. If it should not have happened, then you need to reprimand your worker. She said, well, I'll talk to her later on today. Well, by that time, she could have done this again, okay? Evidently, she needs someone to tell her that this is not a policy of ours. We don't do this. So I was getting nowhere with this supervisor. So I told her, you know, I could really make this a big deal. Well, she didn't seem to care about that. So when I went home, I called the Summit County Board of Elections office. And they connected me to the Democratic representative, a wonderful woman named LaDonna, who again told me, this should never have happened. This is a big deal. So she proceeded to take down information and everything, and she told me, I am going to take care of this right away. This worker should not be at the door. And if they have enough workers, I'm going to send her home. Okay, finally, I got some response, and she happened to be an African-American woman, okay, who was sensitive to the problem. Not only for African-Americans, but disabled people. So, I also went further, and I'm telling you this because like I said, I don't normally do this, but we have reached a point in America where there is so much insensitivity and so much boldness on the part of white supremacists and people who don't know that they're white supremacists. This is the problem. They don't know they're racist, and they have all of this privilege and exercise it all the time, so it's normal for them, okay? And we have been putting up with it for the longest, but it's not going to change until we change, okay? We're expecting them to change, but we have to change first. We have to say enough is enough. No matter how small the matter, we have to say enough is enough. So, well, I also called 2 newspapers and left the story with them. One newspaper, the African Beacon Journal, got back with me. They may not pick up the story, but someone else knows. And the next time something happens at that poll, someone's going to remember, oh, you know what? Something happened there last year too. We didn't follow up on it, but there's a problem. So go out there and you make changes. You be the one who tells your story. You be the one who calls and tells other people what's going on that's not right. And I'm going to end it there. Thank you. Bye.